Our local police department will not ever cooperate with ICE.
So what you're going to get, sanctuary cities, is exactly what you don't want. More agents in your communities and more collateral arrests. That's what we're going to do. We're doubling down, tripling down. So for those who say they're going to keep ICE out of the city.
That's Tom Homan after Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson yesterday talking about not cooperating with Immigration and Customs Enforcement. It's Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and wake up with us each and every weekday morning for the full live show. Around 8 o'clock Central Time, we go live for Illinois in Focus. So yesterday, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson held an open-ended news conference talking about a host of things concerning the so-called big, beautiful bill that President Donald Trump signed on Independence Day. We'll talk about the rhetoric around all of that a little bit later on in a different segment. But he was also asked about the increased Immigration Customs Enforcement budget, the increased Border Patrol budget that some people say is larger than like 15 countries' militaries' budgets, and it's all for immigration enforcement. And Johnson saying that there's a lot of money there, and he doesn't like this idea. Here's some of his comments yesterday.
It's clear that the President of the United States of America is using ICE, this particular federal entity, as a militarized force. That is obvious. It's unprecedented. To your question, I appreciate the analysis that you've offered, is that the city of Chicago, like all cities across America, will have to be far more thoughtful and even innovative in how we approach the federal government, period. Look, I don't often quote, historic leaders, but Brandeis is probably one of the more progressive voices of that time. And as I mentioned, you either want democracy or you want an oligarchy. Right? And I want democracy, and I believe most Americans, if not all Americans, want that as well. So this is unprecedented. And to the extent in which we're going to have to rely upon one another, other cities and states coming together to find the best way in which we can interact with a federal government that is quite hostile towards states and cities, that's going to be an ongoing effort.
So Johnson talking about how he's going to try to cooperate with other cities that have sanctuary policies to go against what he called a hostile federal government. And the federal government insists that they're just following what Congress prescribes in law when it comes to immigration enforcement. And President Donald Trump campaigning on border enforcement and deportations. He won the election. Republicans have Congress, so they feel they have that mandate to enforce this. But all of this also comes as you've got continued concerns of the safety of immigration enforcement officers. ICE has been pretty active on their social media accounts, especially on X, sharing stories of confrontations they're having, ambushes that ICE agents are undergoing, and a variety of other things that are troubling for some people who want to see law and order. You've got, for instance, this headline here, the Prairieland ambush on July 4th. 11 individuals set off fireworks in front of a Prairieland detention center in an effort to lure law enforcement. When an Alvarado, Texas police officer arrived on the scene, one of the suspects shot him in the neck. Thankfully, the officer's recovering, but this type of event is a direct result of the politicians and activists' incitement across the U.S. The consequences, ICE said, while one suspect remains at large, 10 are being charged with attempted murder and domestic terrorism. If convicted, they could spend the rest of their lives in prison. And you've got acting U.S. Attorney Nancy Larson saying, make no mistake, this was not a peaceful protest. It was indeed an ambush. So again, the ongoing concerns of safety for federal law enforcement officers. Brandon Johnson, in his response yesterday, talked a bit more about the issue of responding to ICE increasing efforts in Chicago. Here's Johnson from yesterday.
Again, it's unconscionable at a time in which so many working people and poor people need government to show up for them, that this administration, the Trump administration, has caused so much consternation and division. Look, we are a welcoming city ordinance. Our local police department will not ever cooperate with ICE. Whatever their constitutional authority is, that is obviously relegated to the Trump administration. All of our sister agencies, city departments, have been thoroughly briefed by a corporate counsel, and I'll pass it over to her in a second, about what they can and cannot do.
And then he hands it over to the Corporation Counsel, who
Good
talks
morning.
about
I appreciate
the memos that they've put out to law enforcement and how they can't impede federal law enforcement action. But when it comes to how they react to the overall issue of ICE being on the ground there, here's Johnson's Corporation Counsel.
Appreciate the question. The mayor referenced the guidelines that we issue to all city departments, as well as guidances to city agencies and Alder Corps, so they would know the parameters on what they can acts they can take and not take. We are prohibited from viewed as quote interfering with a federal law enforcement action. The mayor also noted that CPD will not support ICE-related actions. We do stay in contact with 12 other cities around the country, and we are constantly examining the steps they're taking and reevaluating what additional steps we might take in the city of Chicago.
So again, reevaluating with 12 other cities, the Corporation Counsel for Chicago says when it comes to how they respond with ICE showing up. Immigration Customs Enforcement has been posting to their social media pretty regularly, including sites from Indiana, so just across the way there from Illinois, talking about picking up various suspected gang members, illegal immigrants here at a gas station. You've got them being loaded into vehicles, and even some kind of behind the scenes of a flight of sorts for migrants leaving Gary, Indiana.
It's a big task, and the good thing is our officers are ready for it. What's going on here, this is going on at many other airports throughout the country.
So obviously, ICE has been pretty active in sharing all of this social media content. Tom Homan, the border czar, he's been making the rounds on media as well, and he was appearing in front of the White House, taking reporters' questions. Here's some of what he had to say on the rate of actual deportations that they hope to accomplish.
And for those that say 3,000 a day is too much, I want to remind them, do the math. We'd have to arrest 7,000 every single day for the remainder of this administration just to catch once Biden released the nation, right?
So that's quite a few deportations a day that he says is necessary to go after all of the non-citizens that cross the border illegally during the Biden administration. But more to the resistance that is already being seen with the ambush and other suspects being taken into custody for either threatening ICE officers or damaging their vehicles. You've got that already in the ether. Is that going to ramp up even more? But what does it mean for so-called sanctuary jurisdictions that refuse to cooperate with ICE? Homan says that just means you're going to see more people being ensnarled in ICE enforcement because they're not going to be able to go and actually enforce it in jails because Cook County won't cooperate with ICE because of state and Cook County law that says you can't cooperate with federal immigration enforcement officers on civil detention orders. So if somebody's at a jail in Cook County and they're here illegally, they can't communicate that to ICE, so that individual's then released on no bond for whatever issue. And then the ICE has to go to the streets. Here's what Tom Homan broke down as far as how that's going to impact sanctuary cities and ICE's involvement there.
Not only that, I'm going to head to Portland. I'm going out there. They're not going to bully us or we're going to do the job. We're going to do it in Portland too. But for the mayor of New York City and Chicago, President Trump made it clear 2 weeks ago. We're going to double down and triple down on sanctuary cities. Yes. Why? Not because they're blue. Because we know there are recent public safety threats to the streets every day. Like Florida, we agree with all the sheriffs in Florida. They're taking our detainers. They're not releasing illegal alien public safety threats. They're calling us. So we could spend less resources in Florida and send them to New York, to Chicago, and to Portland, and LA. We're going to double down and triple down on sanctuary cities. If we can't arrest a bad guy in the jail, then we'll go to community and we'll find him. Or we'll do more worksite enforcement, we'll find him at the worksite. And when we do these things and we ramp up that enforcement, we're going to find others who aren't a criminal target, but they're in the country illegally, we're going to arrest them too. So what you're going to get, sanctuary cities, is exactly what you don't want. More agents in your communities and more collateral arrests. That's what we're going to do. We're doubling down, tripling down. So for those who say they're going to keep ICE out of the city, good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck with that.
So again, it's Tom
be
Homan,
safe, Tom Homan.
Talking with Fox News about immigration enforcement efforts increasing in jurisdictions where law enforcement's not going to cooperate with federal immigration enforcement. I'm Greg Bishop. This is Illinois in Focus Daily. Be sure to wake up with us each and every weekday morning and get the newsletter in your inbox at thecentersquare.com.